In this video, we are going to perform a very simple Nastran analysis by using the modules capability. So here is the model we want to create. We want to create three cubes in different modules, if you will. Now, the one special thing about a module is that it lets you use the same grid ID multiple times. So here is an example. Grid 7 appears 3 times in this Nastran model. And that's one of the biggest benefits in using modules. So here's a quick example. Let's suppose that you created 2 cubes. Cube 1 has nodes 1 through 99, and then cube 2 has nodes 1 through 199. Now let's suppose you create another cube with the finer mesh. This cube now uses nodes 1 through 140, and then the second cube that's left untouched. Now here is a problem. You have duplicate node IDs. So here, this cube is using node 140. This cube is also using 140. This is not allowed. Duplicate IDs is traditionally not allowed. I think a majority of FEA solvers never let you use the same node number, and that's problematic. This is something a lot of engineers struggle with. They create one model, then they have to remesh a part of the model, and then on top of that, you have to worry about ID conflicts with the node numbers. Modules is an attempt to help alleviate that challenge. Here, again, I have 2 cubes sharing the same IDs. So here, let me pick additional nodes. So you can see I have grid ID in the first cube, the second cube, and the third cube. So I'll show you how to set this up in the web app we are going to be using today. And then just in case you have not noticed, today's exercise is going to happen in a web browser. Just in case you want to follow along with today's exercise on modules, you can visit theengineeringlab.com. Here in the top right hand corner, click on the blue button, fill out the form, and we'll go ahead and give you access to a free version of the web app to try. Okay, so let's open the viewer and let's go ahead and create a different bulk data section. So we'll go to the pre. Right now we have the main bulk data section, and like all of my videos, this is a great way to learn how to write out the bulk data file. So here, let's go ahead and add 2 bulk data sections, and we'll go ahead and name these the modules. So we'll call this module 101, module 102. This is going to store cube B and cube C. So these are the labels. This first main bulk data section, we're going to store the first cube A. Okay, let's go ahead and create some meshes now. This mesher, it's not meant to compete with other meshers. This is a very simple mesher that's very useful for learning purposes and testing. So here is our first cube. Let's go ahead and add another cube to the next module, module 101. Let's go ahead and move this. Let's go ahead and translate it to x equals 2. Let's go ahead and create another mesh and save it. And then let's go ahead and create a third cube. And we'll put that cube in module 102. And then this is not where I want it. So let's go ahead and use this one. Okay, let's go ahead and save. So we have 3 cubes in the main bulk data section, module 101 and module 102. If you want to look at these changes, you can go here to select section. You could go to any one of these bulk data sections, and you can see that we have grid 1 at the origin for the most part. And we'll jump to another bulk data section, cube 2. The same numbered grid IDs, but notice that the positions are different. And then we'll go to the next module and we'll look at the grids. And again, you notice that the grid positions are different. So we have 3 cubes with the same grid IDs and element IDs. Okay, let's go ahead and start preparing these different cubes. So let's go ahead and create some materials for these. So mat 1, we'll create a cube here, 0.3, and then I believe that's the density. You'll notice that anytime we modify an input in the table, the bulk data entry is updated for you here on the right. So we'll go ahead and do this for every bulk data section. So we'll use the same mechanical properties. And go ahead and type in these values. And let's go ahead and go back to this module, create an entry here, 289.3 and 123. Okay, and now let's go to the P-solid entry. Let's make sure that that entry is pointing to this material that we've created. And then we have to do this for each cube we've created. So let's go ahead and do this for the next third cube. Okay, now let's go ahead and create our supports, and we're going to do this for every cube. So we'll define an SPC1. We'll say constrain all 6 degrees of freedom for the base. Let's go ahead and create, or let's select some nodes. You'll notice that when you pick nodes or elements, you can only pick nodes for that bulk data section. You'll notice if I try and pick other nodes, I cannot. That's because these other nodes are from other modules. So we'll go ahead and repeat this for this SPC1. We'll select these nodes for this module. And then let's go ahead and redo this for the third cube. So let's go ahead and select the 6 degrees of freedom, and then we'll select these ones. So what I want to do is constrain the base of these cubes, and then I want to add a pressure distribution to the top. Now, I know this model is very simple, but to be honest, the simple models are helpful. These cubes could represent 3 parts in an aircraft, or 3 parts in an automobile. As long as you know what the procedure is like, then you can expand this out to a more complex structural system. So for myself, I always like using these simple examples. This is kind of practice for when you move up to a more complex system. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. And there's one thing I forgot to do for all of these pressure distributions. I forgot to specify the pressure distribution. So we'll say that these are 300 units of stress, or units of pressure. And here we'll use the 200 units of pressure. And then we'll do this for the other cube, the other P load 4 entry. We'll say 100. Okay, so we have our cues, materials, properties, boundary conditions, and loads. Let's go ahead and attempt to configure a SOL 101 analysis or statics analysis. Let's go ahead and output the displacement and the stress. And here, personally, I always like to use the plot command with the echo equals none, just so the F06 file is really small. We'll go to the SPC section. We have three SPC1s. We're constraining 3 cubes. So we have SPC ID1, ID1, ID1. Here we see this is for module 102, module 101. This top entry is for the main bulk data section. Let's go ahead and assign these constraints to subcase 1. Let's go ahead and repeat that for the P load 4. So you see we have 3 instances, 3 bulk data sections. And now let's go ahead and try and run this with Nastran. Now, there's one big limitation with, or it's not a limitation, but it's a requirement with modules. You have to connect at least 1 degree of freedom across all the modules. That's the requirement. If you don't do that, you actually get this error. No automatic or manual connections were found for module 101 or 102. So now let me create a dummy connection. So to do this, let's go ahead and go here. Let me create 1 node in the main bulk data section. Let's go ahead and do this. So let me create a point here and click save. So this node is in the main bulk data section. Let me switch to module 101. Let me repeat this. Let's go ahead and pick this node and click save. I get 1 node in module 102, and then let's go ahead and repeat this for the last module. So let's go ahead and put that point down here just so it's a little clearer, and click save. So I have 3 nodes. Now I'm going to switch over to the main bulk data section. I'm going to use an entry called MDRBE2. This is like a regular RBE2 entry, but this time you can select nodes across different modules. So here I'm just saying that, okay, this first grid, it's going to come from the first main bulk data section. This next grid, it's going to come from the second module. And then the third grid, that's going to come from the third bulk data section, the third module, if you will, or the module 102. And then here I said, okay, we are going to consider all 6 degrees of freedom. So this is going to be our dummy connection between the modules. And then I need to create SPC1 just to make sure these degrees of freedom are constrained. So let's go ahead and use node 0. Okay, now let's go ahead and try, before I forget, I think if you're a new user, it would help if you have a sticky note that says, always remember to assign the loads and boundary conditions. I do this a lot. I used to do this a lot when I was younger, and I still do it from time to time. And then here, you'll notice one thing. We get deformations. Unfortunately, the deformations are really small. They're on the order of times 10 to negative 9. So let me do this. Let me scale up this load. Let's go to load. Let's go ahead and make this E. Let's try E8. The deformations were so small that I didn't get a French plot here. And then I think the deformations might be too big now. Okay, so there we go. So here are the deformations. Our first example with modules. You'll notice that I'll say this. The complexity in recovering the results, displaying the results, is higher than it was before. But here we're able to collect all the data from different modules and display it all in one screen. Let's go ahead and look at the stresses. So again, these are stresses from different modules, but we've collected them all together. Let's go ahead and look at maybe the corner von Mises stresses. And then if we wanted to, we could identify which node, which element has the highest von Mises stress. And here we're told information that element 1, grid ID 9, module 102 is having the highest stress here. So there you have it. That was the first example with modules. It would help if we looked at something else. So here's kind of an overview of what the delimiters look like for the begin delimiter. We have begin bulk, and we have the finite element model stored in that. Then we have begin module 101 label equals cube C, then begin module 102 label cube C. Now let's go ahead and look at the final bulk data file. So we'll go ahead and download that and open it in our text editor. So this is what the final Nastran file looks like. This first section has the first cube. This next begin delimiter, this describes the starting point of the next module. So this is the second cube. Then we have the third delimiter, module 102. This is the third and final cube. If you compare the grid IDs, you have grid IDs 1 through 65 in module 102. Grid IDs 1 through 65 again. And then again, grid IDs 1 through 65. So again, modules is a very useful tool if you're always having to deal with duplicate IDs. If you always have to watch out for conflicts in node IDs, the module's capability is a step forward to addressing those challenges. Okay then, so that's the end of this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to define a contact analysis for different cubes. So with that, I'll stop here and thank you for watching.